Hello YouTube, 45 Alpha Charlie Papa channel here, and today we're going to take a look at the Japanese Type 99 Arisaka. Now 3 million of the approximately 3.5 million of these rifles that were produced during the war. Being produced from 1941 to 1945, I do find these a very interesting rifle because by looking at different rifles you can really see how bad the war was going for Japan. We're going to take a look at two of these rifles just to see what kind of story they can tell, and maybe bust a few myths along the way. Okay, the first rifle we're going to look at is a 1942 Nagoya Arsenal Series 3, made towards the end of 1942, kind of the height of World War II for Japan. Now as we look at our serial number production chart here, we can see where this rifle falls in the production. Now every one of those arsenal marks represents 100,000 rifles. Just the way the Japanese numbered everything. They'd give it an arsenal mark, run 100,000 rifles, give it another arsenal mark, start at 0, run another 100,000 rifles. So as you can see, the Nagoya plant was really pumping out rifles during the war, trying to get as many out to the troop as they possibly could. We're going to start from the muzzle end of this rifle. As you can see, there's a bamboo rod in place of the cleaning rod. Now they would have put that there because they like to TP their rifles to have them at the ready in case they needed to have them real quick. This cleaning rod was found on the rifle when I finally got it apart. That was part of my first YouTube video that I ever did. If we take a little closer look at this cleaning rod, you can see that they even notched it so that it would lock into place. Having found this cleaning rod way in the rifle gave me that feeling that maybe the rifle didn't come with a cleaning rod from the factory in the first place. Now let's take a look a little further down the rifle. Now this being one of the early rifles, you can see that the barrel band there has a provision for the monopod. However, this rifle did not have one. As we look at the rear sight of this rifle, we also notice that it's missing the iconic aircraft sights that are so associated with the Japanese Type 99 Arisaka. One popular thought of why the aircraft sights might be missing was that they were thin and fragile and broke off, and the Japanese just simply removed them as they broke. However, my theory is the factory just didn't put them on. Moving down the rifle, you can see that the mum has been ground off on this weapon, meaning it was surrendered to save face for the Emperor. You also notice that the dust cover is not there. Now, with everything else that's missing on this rifle, to me, it would say that it didn't come from the factory, but the most common thought was that they rattled, they were noisy, they were hard to put back on, so the Japanese troops just simply tossed them. And here we've got the buttstock of the rifle. It does have the steel butt plate, but that's to be expected on a 1944 rifle. They weren't necessarily taking all the shortcuts at this point. But overall, it's a very nice rifle. It is missing, again, it was missing the cleaning rod, it was missing the monopod, it was missing the aircraft sights, and it was missing its dust cover. But again, they were pumping these rifles out, 100,000 in a couple months. If the parts weren't there, I don't think they ever were on the rifle to begin with. You see a lot of different armies that when they're in war or getting geared up for war, they start removing features from the rifles if they don't need them. And I think the Japanese are kind of the same in that. Although you do get some rifles from this particular area with the parts on them, but the parts weren't there, they didn't have time to put them on there, they didn't get put on. The Arsenal's first concern was to get functional rifles out to the troops, and that's what they did. The other thing I've noticed on this rifle was that the chrome lining in the barrel seemed to be a little thinner than we saw in the other rifles. Alright, well let's take a look at the second Type 99 Arisaka we've got here, and it is a 1944 Kokura Arsenal, and a very interesting rifle. Getting close to the end of the war, getting close to the last ditch, and let's see what they put on and didn't put on this rifle. Alright, what we have here is the second Type Arisaka rifle that we're going to look at here, and this one was made a little later in the war. This is a 1944 Type 4 Kokura Arsenal rifle. I think it's Kokura. I'm not Japanese. I probably butchered that pretty good, but this is a 1944 rifle. Now, this one does have the heavy chrome lining that you come to get used to when looking at these rifles. I don't know if you can see that there, but we'll go ahead and get in front of the picture. You can see that chrome ring around the barrel. That's a chrome lining. The other one was chrome lined, but you didn't have that ring around there, which made me think that they were shortening the process of chrome lining. You can see, you know, there towards the end of the war, they were starting to take some shortcuts, starting to take some stuff off of this rifle. If you look at the cleaning rod that was on this one, it's just a short little stubby cleaning rod. The cleaning rod that fit my 1942 was this one here. So you see quite a significant difference there as to the size of the cleaning rod. They were starting to cut down on the materials they were using to make rifles because they were having a hard time sourcing materials. This particular arsenal, it took them almost a year to make 100,000 rifles, where the other arsenal, the Nagoya arsenal, was cranking those 100,000 out every 3 months or so, maybe a little faster, maybe a little slower, but they were really cranking them out. This is the second largest arsenal in Japan, and they weren't cranking these out quite as fast. Still has the standard sights on it. If you come down here, you notice no longer has provision for the monopod. It's more of a stamped steel barrel band here. But you know, they're no longer putting the monopods on them. They probably didn't have them at that time. Now, going with my theory is that, you know, if they had it on hand, they put it on the rifle. If they didn't go on the rifle. But you know, this is 1944 production, but we still have aircraft sights on this rifle. Obviously, they had the aircraft sights assembled and on hand when they put this rifle together. So that's, you know, something kind of neat that even later in the war, you were still getting some of these accoutrements that the Arisaka is known for. But, you know, they obviously had them on hand when they put the rifle together. You also notice that the bolt here is more of a blackened finish instead of a polished, like the 1942 version that I had. The mum was completely ground off. Now, I do plan on going out and shooting this, but I'm not going to shoot it in this video simply because, one, it needs cleaned up. It hasn't been cleaned or anything done with it for years. The other issue here, and I don't know if you can see in the camera, is it's got a cracked stock. And if you notice on the stock, 1944, they were trying to whip these stock out pretty quick because it was very crude the way they carved out the pistol grip area of this rifle. I mean, it's just very, very quickly and hastily made. And, you know, this crack, you can probably see it move there, you know, goes all the way through half this rifle and does extend over to the other side here. So in future videos, I'm going to go ahead and get this apart, and as I clean it up, we're going to do some stock repair, and I'm going to show you the stock repair on this rifle. I would love to keep it period correct. I'd love to be able to use the stock instead of trying to replace it with something that I can buy. But you know, Type 99 Arisaka still has the metal butt plate, but we're talking, you know, this is very close to a, you know, almost a last ditch rifle. It's not the last ditch. It still has the curling knob on the safety. It still has the milled out, rounded off bolt. So Type 99 Arisaka, this is the second version. Here's my little photo bomber here. And this is the 45 Alpha Charlie Papa channel. Signing out. Alright, now before we go, I did want to show you that I do have a Nagoya Arsenal late war bayonet to go along with this rifle. And it fits on like so. You know, kind of nice late war rifle, late war bayonet. But it's got the sheath on it. It's not necessarily in the greatest of shape. You know, the sheath here has got a crack in it. There are some you know, marks on the blade here, as if somebody was trying to sword fight with it. Maybe it was just, you know, using it, trying to go through the jungles there on the islands that the Japanese were occupying. But there's this Series 24 Japanese Arisaka. Coming to you from the future reloading room of the 45 Alpha Charlie Papa channel. This is Drazen M signing out.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.
With the bayonet. And it has, again, if you're not trying anything new, you're not learning it. As again, if you're not making any mistakes, you're not learning anything. Coming to you from the future reloading room here at the Alpha Charlie Papa channel. This is Drazen M and the Alpha Charlie Papa channel signing out.
What did you say, photo bomber?